Ollie got another call from a frightened older gentleman. I said, Ollie, there's some kind of monster in my house. And I said, okay, I can help you with that. I said, yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I've not seen it. It's a secret monster. It's very sneaky, but it bites. It eats food. It bit me at least twice, maybe more. It it sneaks around. It shreds things up. I don't know what's going on. I need you to come and help me figure out what's going on. Get this monster out of here. I've seen that you do monsters. You do monsters, right? And I said, yeah, I do monsters. Yeah, that's something I do. I said, great. When can you come over? I said, all right. Well, when do you usually? When does the monster usually show up? He said, well, I think it's most active at night. Like when I've gotten bit by the monster, it's been at night. And it's always in the morning when I find things all messed up. I said, all right. Well, I'll come by. Why don't I come by tonight? I think this might be a case for a stakeout. So why don't I come by tonight around, are you still up at 8 o'clock? He said, yeah, I'm usually sort of winding down by then, but, I'm just reading or watching TV about then. So, yeah, you can come by then. I said, all right, I'll be there. So, at 8 o'clock, I went over there. The guy opened the door. I said, oh, so nice to meet you. Oh, man, you literally are an octopus. I thought that was like a clever name. I said, no, I literally am an octopus. That's, yep. So, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I never met a talking octopus before. So, yeah, come on in. It's, it's nothing fancy, but it's my house. The house was up in Hamilton, which is kind of north of here. Remember where Alice and Chris used to live?
Like by the church?
No, before that.
No.
When they had the really big dog?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's not important. Point is, like in one of the northern neighborhoods. Regular kind of house, 3-bedroom house. A little yard, a driveway. A cute little place. And I said, all right, so do you live here alone? He said, yeah, it's just me. I got some fish. My kids visit sometimes, but most of the time it's just me.
You mean grandkids?
Well, kids and grandkids. Yeah, I entertain and stuff. Not a whole lot, I guess, but, yeah. Usually just little old me rattling around here, but, I own the place outright, so it doesn't make any sense to downsize right now. Maybe if I start have a hard time with the stairs. Anyway, that's not what she asked. It's just me here. Well, I said, all right. So tell me what you've seen. I said, well, it being just me, I don't really always spend a whole lot of effort on cleaning up. I mean, I don't like it messy and gross in here or anything, but, I might leave some fruit on the table. I might leave the butter out. Little stuff like that. I might not clean up all my dishes if it's late and I feel like going to bed. And I have been, anyway, putting, I have cookies out like under a bowl or bread out in a bag on the countertop, and it's never been a problem until this monster showed up. Now, if I do that, any of those things, in the morning, it'll be trashed. If there was a dish, it'll be knocked over and broken. If there's a bag, it'll be torn open. Any of the food will be gone. And often will, scratch up the furniture. And that's one thing it's done. And then it's shredded up all the toilet paper. It chewed into my couch. And yeah, once or twice I've gotten bit by whatever it was. Whatever it is, it's fast and small. I don't know what kind of monster does all these things. I'm not like from this area. I know that they have like chupacabras in Mexico, but I don't know if you have something like that here. I said, where are you from?
What?
It's a monster in like Mexico.
What is it called?
A chupacabra usually literally means the goat sucker. It's kind of like a vampire creature, except that it mostly attacks goats. Supposedly they're very scary. They're not. It's not a real creature. It's a mythical creature.
Like fat people. Like that's one of the scary creatures.
Yes.
It's like the vampire for goats.
Yes. Although I'll admit right off the top that I don't know a whole lot about the chupacabra myth. It probably is more complicated than a vampire for goats. I'm sure it is. Anyway, point is, he was familiar with some things, but he didn't know what there was in this area. And I said, well, let's do a little test. Do you have some cookies or bread or something that we can leave out? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a stakeout. And I'll find some place to hide here. And I'll see if I can observe the monster. And if it's something that I feel like I can tackle by myself, I'll do that, and if not, then I'll at least make a plan and start thinking about how to tackle it. Also, you need to stop fidgeting around it.
Okay.
And I just said, okay, I need you to actually stop fidgeting around. I don't want to have to say it again. I said, okay, so you're just gonna like stay here all night. I said, if that's okay. I know it's a little weird. I know you're used to having the place to yourself. Said, no, it's fine. I mean, I hired you to catch the monster. It makes sense you'd have to try and see the monster. I'm not bothered. I don't mind having people around. I like having people around. Yes, I'm reading my book, and I was gonna, read for another 45 minutes or something, and then kind of head to bed. So I don't know what you want to do. If you want to come, I don't know. What do you usually do in this kind of situation? I said, if you don't mind, I just might poke around in your library, pick a book, and read also. Like I said, sure. Do you want like a beer or anything? I said, nah, not if I'm going to be working all night. Thank you, though. I said, okay. So they just kind of read together there in the living room for, an hour or so. And then the guy said, okay, I'm gonna turn in. Good luck with your stakeout. I mean, if you need anything, let me know. I'm probably not any good monster fighting, but if it's something I can help with, you just let me know. I said, I'll let you know. I will. And Ollie put the cookies. Those are just some store-bought cookies. They put them in a bag, a clear bag, and put them on the dining room table. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the dining room table was right next to the kitchen, was what I was thinking about. So it's kind of the kitchen table, kind of the dining room table. Kind of both. Kind of like in our old house. Anyway, not important. I looked around, trying to figure out the best place to hide. He thought about behind the curtains, but the visibility wasn't great there. Then it's because, it'd be behind the curtains. And then he spotted there was a kind of I forget what that's called. Like a tall cabinet that had a little sort of crown cut top. That's where the guy kept a lot of the dishes and stuff, like teacups and that kind of a thing. And it was about 7 feet tall. And I thought, I bet if I hide up there, I'll be able to see what's going on without it being easy to see me. So before he climbed up, though, Ollie went to the bottom of the stairs and hollered up and said, oh, question, do you usually leave the lights on at night down here or turn them off? I said, oh, yeah, I usually turn them off. I usually turn everything off. And would you mind checking to make sure the door's locked? I forgot to check that as I was going up. I said, sure. And he walked over and he turned the door lock. And it wasn't that late, so we decided to read for a little bit longer. It was kind of an interesting book about the history of grain, like cultivating grain, growing like wheat and barley and stuff. But after a while, I decided it's probably time to start the stakeout. So he turned off the lights, climbed up on top of the cabinet thing, and started watching. Now, for a lot of people, a stakeout would be a maddening thing, but Ollie kind of likes the peace and the calm and the stillness. So it's nothing that Ollie minds. So he sat there, waiting for a monster to show up. For a long time, there was nothing, no activity. And all of a sudden, he heard a rustling noise. Couldn't see anything. The rustling noise was moving around the room, and I got a little nervous. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. Then he saw a little movement in one of the chairs. And then all of a sudden, pop, up on the table. Well, was it a monster? I guess that depends on your perspective. Because what Ollie saw was a big rat. Not perhaps a monster in the way you might think of it, but... The what?
Camouflage?
I mean, kind of. Rats have pretty good camouflage in the dark. They're pretty hard to see in the dark, but Ollie's got really good eyes. But he wasn't like especially camouflaged to the, inside of the house or anything like that. It's just regular Norway rat.
They're like
Ollie was camouflaged, yes, sorry, yes. He was camouflaged and he was up high and kind of out of sight. Yeah, he was pretty well hidden. The rat didn't see him. So the rat got up and sniffed at the bag. Then it started pulling at the bag and pulled it a little bit off from where it was. Then the rat started chewing at the bag, chewed a hole into the bag, chewed a big hole into the bag, and just throwing pieces of plastic around as it went. And then the rat took a big old bite of cookie, and it looked like it was happy with itself about that. So it ate a whole cookie, all to itself. Looked like it was a third the size of the rat, but he ate it all, or she. And then with a big old clomp, the rat dragged the cookie bag off the table onto the chair, off the chair onto the table. And all I could finally not see, it went down, over behind, well not behind, but next to the fridge. And tried to drag the cookie bag in there. It didn't really work. So then it shredded the cookie bag and brought the cookies back behind the fridge, one by one. And I thought, all right, well, that's that. So he got himself down. Huh?
Next morning?
Right, well, he got himself down and quietly. Be quiet, please. He got himself down from the cabinet and quietly left. He left a little note saying, I've got some news for you. I'll come back in the morning.
Where?
To the house. I need less talking from you, honey. And I don't like that I heard you flopping around just then. After I told you to be quiet, that told me that you were sitting up in bed. You need to be lying still and being quiet, honey. In a position that you'll go to sleep. Because this is a bedtime story. Are you in a position that you'll sleep?
Yes.
All right. So in the morning, Ollie came back. Knocked on the door around 9 o'clock a.m. or so. The guy opened it and said, Ollie, good to see you. Good to see you. I got your note. Come on in. Would you like some coffee? And I said, sure. Sure, I'd love a cup of coffee. Yeah, and I got some scones. Do you like scones? And I said, oh, I love scones. Yeah, I'll take a scone. Thank you. So they came in and poured Ollie a cup of coffee and got him a scone. They sat down at the table. I said, all right, so tell me what you found. I got your note. It sounds like you saw the monsters. What are we dealing with here? What are we dealing with here? And I said, well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that it's nothing supernatural. It's not a ghost. It's not even really a monster in the normal sense of things. I said, oh, that is good. That is good. I said, the bad news is, what you got is at least one rat. I said, oh, rats. Are you serious? It was just rats? I mean, that's also bad, though. Rats are a big problem, right? I said, oh, yeah, rats, I mean, they're a problem, but they can be dealt with. And I've got more information than just it's a rat. I said, oh, yeah, go ahead. Tell me what's up. I said, well, I saw the rat where it was going. I don't know quite where it goes, but it goes behind the fridge. Like, I don't know after it's behind the fridge where it goes from there, but it dragged the cookies back behind the fridge. I said, oh, that does give me more information. Well, we should take a look. I said, oh, sure, like pull out the fridge and see if there's a hole back there? He said, yeah, exactly. I can just about get it myself, and I bet if you help me, we can get it no problem. It's on wheels, so. So they went over there, and they pulled the fridge out. And I took a look, and first of all, there was just bleh back there. Crumbs and plastic bags and rat droppings. It was definitely an area the rat had been traversing. And there, behind the stove, they saw a hole in the baseboard, just like in the cartoons, except bigger because it was a rat hole.
That's a cartoon.
Oh, don't worry about it. Some cartoons, they have mice and rats living in the walls by chewing doors into the baseboards. Don't worry about it. It's not important.
Sweet.
Elsa, shh. Like I said, so that's where it lives. I said, or that's where it goes. Let me, get like a coat hanger. Like I said, sure, I got a coat hanger. Like one I don't need, right? And I said, yeah, I'm gonna stick it down in the hole. So the guy got a coat hanger and kind of uncurled it, handed it over to Ollie, and Ollie bent it into kind of an arcing shape. I said, can you go downstairs and tell me if you see it or hear it down there, this coat hanger? Like I said, sure. So I went down there, and Ollie put the wire of the coat hanger through, kind of poked it around in there, and wiggled it around, trying to get it as far as he could, and then he just kind of wiggled it back and forth. The guy says, I can kind of hear it, but I can't see it. It's in behind the walls over by this window. I said, all right, I bet it goes outside, or into some little cave that's built for itself. The guy came back up and said, Ollie, well, thank you. I mean, I feel like you're a private eye. You probably not want to, do pest control. I said, yeah, I was going to say that I'm happy to turn this over to somebody that has really expertise in getting rid of rats at this point. The guy said, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Well, thank you, Ollie. I was pretty freaked out about the idea of some monster. I'm still kind of freaked out that there was a rat, and then I got bitten by a rat. I feel like I should probably get checked out for, rabies or whatever, but at least I know that there isn't a monster in my house. And a rat I can deal with. I said, all right, well, thank you for the coffee, thank you for the scone. I'll send my invoice over, but it won't be too big. Like I said, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll call you next time I got a mystery. Hopefully next time I'll send a little meteor for you.
What's a meteor?
Like, harder to solve, more mysterious. I laughed and said, sometimes after a whole bunch of monster fights, it's good to have a simple one that doesn't involve anything supernatural. That was Ollie and the case of the Midnight Monster.